With all of the excitement stemming from the announcement of the new modular building and the Avengers Tower, you might have missed the announcement of the new Lunar New Year sets. These Chinese festival sets are a highlight every single year, and I'm looking forward to this year's sets. Coming this year, we have a calendar set, an auspicious dragon, which is kind of like an ornament, a display piece, and my personal favorite of the three so far, the family reunion celebration. Now, I love Lego buildings and especially modulars, so this last one, the reunion celebration, really piques my curiosity as to how we might be able to modularize the set. So this video, we're going to talk about how it could match up with other modular buildings and what you might have to do to make it a functional modular building. Let's break it down. I've done a couple of these videos in the past about city sets, friend sets, creator sets, and others. And what we want to understand is, what do you have to do to take a system set and modularize it? Now, there are a couple of important things that you have to do. The first one is you have to allow it to connect to other modular buildings. This could be by adding Technic pins and Technic bricks at the base, but it could also include taking off awnings and extensions to buildings that would overhang and collide with other modular buildings. Second, you want the exterior to be something you don't have to modify too much to go beyond recognition of the original Lego set, but still has some interesting features that would allow it to fit into a modular city. There isn't an already in place feature to connect the reunion set to others, but it wouldn't be too difficult to add some Technic bricks. Doing so, though, requires some choices. The set has odd dimensions. Note the curved base and the recessed sidewalk on the left. All told, the base adds up to 36 studs wide, which is not readily conventional for modular buildings, as they are built on base plates in increments of 16 studs. The reunion is also a three-sided building with unique and irregular sides. The right segment of the building is the main entrance to the restaurant, and on the side you have a nice wall with a fish tank visible, some sidewalk, and an overhang. Over on the left is an alcove with a flower stand, an artist's easel, some more sidewalk, and another overhang. And this is what poses a key problem for modularizing this set. It's got these unique dimensions and two sides to the set that would make it difficult to fit into a modular city as it is currently constructed. Unlike, say, the Friends downtown flower and design shops, which already had built-in connections, were already kind of set up in a way to be modularized. Now, we could just call it a day and say, well, you can't salvage this set, but I think it looks pretty cool, and I think there are ways that we can solve this problem. One option is to turn this into a corner modular and flatten the other side of the building. If I were doing this, I would keep the right side intact, given its natural curb appeal with the fish tank and some of the architecture. Getting rid of the left sidewalk and the overhangs would make it compatible with other modular buildings, because that flat surface is going to be necessary unless you want to make this a building with two corners, which Lego's never really done for a modular building, so that would be kind of tricky to fit into your city. Now, that is a real option to make this a two-corner building, but as I noted, it doesn't fit well into your modular city, and you might have a 32-wide block, and you'd have to have double sides, so double facades on modulars that fit behind it. And that's where things get complicated. When I want to modularize an existing system set, I want it to fit into what I already have going on in my modular city, and I really don't have buildings that have facades on the front and back. Besides that, you have to reconfigure some of the dimensions of the set to make it fit as a corner building as it is. To make it a double corner building, you'd have to push the building in even more, squish it, because you have to have sidewalk on both sides. Getting rid of the one sidewalk on the left will allow you to maybe expand the sidewalk by a couple of studs on the right, which will allow it to be more compatible with other modular buildings. What about the facade? Is it interesting, intricate, and unique enough for a Lego modular? I think so. You've got a busy street with some vendors. The snot work on the front is pretty solid and a nice achievement. The double doors look nice, and the overhangs remind me of a Chinese version of the cafe corner. Of course, in this set, your awning is going to be about 100 dark green ingots across the entire of the set, which looks pretty cool and is a nice piece to add to the collection. The second level also adds some nice details. There is the repeated motif of the fences turned on their sides, the use of the gold leaf and frog elements for architectural details, and a nice sign that features the dragon. After all, it is the year of the dragon. Also, note the year on the bottom of the sign, 1932, which just so happens to be the year of LEGO's founding. Finally, I really like the use of the tan panels that provide for more depth to the facade. So is the facade on the Reunion set on par with a modular building? I don't think it's quite there, but it's close. And because it's close, you might be able to make some modifications on your own to improve it to get to that modular level, or you can leave it generally as it is, knowing that it's going to fit reasonably well into a modular city. But I also want to take another step deeper into this potential customization process, because there are some key decisions you're going to have to make if you modularize this building. Every modular has multiple levels, and given their more realistic look, contain stairs. This was a challenging component of customizing the downtown flower and design shops. They needed some way to get to the upper levels. The Reunion set does have a staircase leading up to the second level, and there does not, though, appear to be one going up to the roof. That said, it doesn't look like it would be all that hard to add stairs to the roof that go right above the existing staircase up to the second level. Now, another important consideration is closing off the back end of the building. The reality is, doing this adds a lot of complexity and decision-making to your build. The first problem is you need the bricks to actually close it off. Even getting a second copy of the set is probably not going to provide you with enough bricks to fully enclose it, given the lack of standard bricks in the set. If you look at it, only the corners are built with 1x1, 1x2, maybe some corner bricks in sand green. So if you want to modularize it, you'll have to supplement the build with your own bricks. Another problem is figuring out just how much you have to extend the sides of the building. As currently constructed, it's 12 studs, but by adding more length to it, you have to figure out the architecture and make that one facade, the extra facade for the corner, pleasing to the eye and interesting in terms of building techniques to try to get it up to modular standards. This can be illustrated by examining the right-hand side of the restaurant. It's 12 studs deep, as I just mentioned, which is close to some depth of modular buildings, but not quite long enough. Of course, if this is going to be a corner modular, you're going to have to extend it all the way to the edge of the base plate. So if you leave about 8 studs for the sidewalk, you're looking at a 24 wide facade on that side, which is double the current length. Of course, once you expand it to 24 studs, the next question comes in. What do you do with the expanded interior space? The current interior footprint looks like it runs 28 studs long by 14 studs deep. That adds up to just under 400 square studs. As laid out currently, the set feels a bit cramped on the interior, but if you modify it to a 24 by 24 modular-like footprint, you're coming in at nearly 600 square studs. So that's going to allow you to expand the kitchen. Note they have this little cart that is there for the kitchen. You can include that in a more permanent place within the kitchen and add more tables in the main dining area and rooftop. Then you can also make the bathroom more spacious. So by expanding things, I actually think you improve the dynamic component of the set on the interior. That more space will allow not only more details, but a more functioning interior with the restaurant and kitchen. But that's not the last issue we need to talk about in terms of modularizing a set. You need a ton of large plates and tiles for a set in order to modularize it because of all the different levels you're adding. You need plates for floors and you need tiles to rest those floors on. The good news is that the Reunion set is already modular in its approach and thus contains a significant amount of plates and tiles. Keep in mind that the set has a 2-plate thick base that will be replaced by a normal base plate, so that frees up these larger plates to be used in the upper floors. And because it already has a bunch of tiles in place, you might have enough extras in your collection to cover the added perimeter. So to return to our original question, what would it take to modularize this new family reunion celebration set? Well, I think it's very doable because of the piece selection, the nice exterior details, and the charm of the set. However, you're going to have to make some changes to it to fit within the modular system, and some of those changes are going to force you to make tough decisions. Now, by adding some of your own pieces or buying a second copy of the set, or maybe a combination of both, I can see this being a really nice corner building that could fit next nicely to the Palace Cinema or even the Spring Festival Park that we got from the Chinese New Year sets a couple of years ago. I think that was 2021. That would add some nice little green space next to the modular, but also fit architecturally within itself, almost like you have a little Chinatown within your modular city. Of course, that also means that your Lego modular city is going to have yet another food establishment. Mine already has the Parisian restaurant, the downtown diner, the cafe from the cafe corner, and even the bakery from the assembly square. But after all, I think we can all agree, minifigs, they gotta eat. So I think it's gonna be okay adding yet another restaurant to the scene. Now, how would you customize this into a modular building? Comment down below. You wanna see us customize this family reunion celebration set into a modular building? Well, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and watch more of our videos to help us get to the point where we can actually do that. Hey, before you go, why don't you check out how we supersized the Friends Botanical Gardens. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.